Hi everyone. So today I will be recapping my marketing class on AI, and I thought this was a really important one to talk about because I keep thinking about it, keep thinking about different ways to apply it, and it's just AI is everywhere. So to understand the ins and outs of how it works, I think is really beneficial no matter what. So just as a quick summary, AI is a computer system that can perform human tasks. So whether that's writing an essay, writing emails, detecting fraud, even driving a car, anything that a human can do that a machine can now do. And this isn't super relevant, but it's interesting of machine learning is how computers learn, and there are three different ways that they do it. It's either label based, meaning you show the computer a picture of a dog and it says dog, and then the computer learns that it is in fact a dog. Non-label, where it's just a bunch of different data and then the machine goes through and learns how to categorize different types of data sets and make conclusions off of it. And then the last is just trial and error, so just anything and everything, trying to figure it out. And then one layer deeper than that is deep learning, which is where kind of ChatGPT and large language learning models fall into, and they're more advanced version of machine learning that function off of neural networks, which completely blew my mind when we first learned about that. Like the data scientists who build these models literally mimicked what the human brain looks like, which again blew my mind. And then there are a few three different archetypes of AI. So the first one is convolution neural network, or CNN. And these archetypes are really good for anything sort of visual, so facial recognition. A lot of examples are for medical imaging, medical uses, again, self-driving cars, so pretty visual. And then generative adversarial networks, or GAN, is another archetype that has two networks competing against each other, which are basically just refining their process, which is also crazy to think about how they're communicating, saying that doesn't look real, you need to do this to make it look real, until eventually the output is extremely realistic. So that's pretty crazy. And then transformers, which is like ChatGPT, and they use attention mechanisms. So not only are they taking in what task you're asking them to do, but they're also gathering all the context. So if I say, write me a really polite email to my client who hasn't responded in a few weeks, the computer does a really good job of picking out each piece of the context of, okay, this needs to go to their client, there's some background that the client hasn't been responding, and they can take all that into context. And then kind of one of the bigger versions that I honestly don't know as much about, but I think is really interesting, is AI agents that can almost function like people, and they can think on their own, they can write code, they can search the web, they can run software, access databases. They are highly intelligent and just another more advanced version of kind of what we're already functioning with ChatGPT. So for my company, which is Newmark, a global commercial real estate company, I think the opportunity is easiest to understand on two different audiences. So I'll talk about the marketing and corporate audiences, and then the brokerage audience. Company-wide, I think this applies to everybody, but maybe the outputs are a little different, is a large language model just for Newmark. So within this large language model, the knowledge base would be, tone of voice, brand guidelines, corporate documents like our boilerplate, facts and figures, and then we could also have a customer voice, a voice of customer, our personas, and client emails, feedback, surveys, anything that we've gathered through relationships with clients that can help inform our process. On a marketing perspective, marketing communications, this is kind of the gold mine for content generation, and something like I think about for press releases is if this tool has all the knowledge about what's happening at Newmark, what's all the news. Like Newmark just recently expanded into Korea. Newmark also recently expanded into China, and then the large language model can take those pieces, connect the dots, and say, oh, Newmark is actually expanding across Asia, and help kind of bleed that into materials throughout. So I think that comes across all different types of content that we could be producing. Also, I think it would be a really nice tool to have in terms of governance, where if the machine was smart enough, it could say, we don't, like, if you want to do a corporate level document, here it is, don't create your own, which is something we run into a lot. So I could see it being a nice tool to help reinforce governance. I think in terms of GAN archetypes, it could be really beneficial for creating property tours, property graphics, any sort of visualization could be extremely beneficial. And then moving over to the brokerage side, I think large language model, again, the broker could ask, what's the environment in Dallas looking like, and the tool would spit out a really smart answer, all based on Newmark's research, all based on our market comps versus them going and searching in the market and just seeing what it looks like. So everything that they're looking on is based off of our proprietary information. And then I think in terms of CNN, in terms of visualization, there could be a really useful tool for property analysis, market intelligence, and retail analytics. So really diving into kind of what the mechanics of all these places are happening, what's happening in the property, what's happening in the retail. But then I think the biggest opportunity for brokers is AI agents, where brokers could go in, you could call it a deal intelligence and prep tool, where brokers could go to their AI agent and say, build me a pitch deck on this 180,000 square foot office space in Dallas. And so then the agent would go off and study the property, learn about the property, learn what's attractive about the property, learn what a good potential audience could be, gather all that information, put together a comprehensive deck that's basically ready to go. And then the broker could also say, help me find potential clients that would be interested in this for all these reasons. So at that point, basically, the agent is helping the brokers strategize their business, strategize what properties they have, really to maximize their potential and minimize the time spent on things. So I think it could be a really interesting tool to help them lean into what their clients are looking for and their business opportunity. So I think at the end of the day, AI is a huge opportunity for Newmark, and there's so much more content that can be made, so many more clients to be reached by leaning into different types of tools. So I'm really excited to see where this goes, and really hope that AI agents I'm excited to see how they evolve and become more an integrated part of corporate America, because I think it is really going to help amplify productivity. So that's all I've got. Thanks for your time.